What's going on, guys? Welcome to Fantasy Sports Now. We're talking about running back busts. These are guys that I am avoiding in drafts, and I will get you right into the content. First, hit that sub button. I am not like these big box, Fox, CBS, ESPN that just go constantly going over an hour to talk about five guys. I got five guys for you, and it's going to take 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe 6. All right, let's jump into the content. That was too long for an intro anyway, so let's get into it. First bust on my list is Kendrick Drake. Of course, Kendrick Drake decided to go from Arizona. He could have gone anywhere, and he goes to Las Vegas, where they have Josh Jacobs already. So I don't know if this is purposefully done to kind of extend his career. He wants to be in a committee. Maybe he wants to split carries. We have no idea how Las Vegas is going to split those carries, so that is a major concern for me right off the bat. I'm sure they're going to be very forthcoming with what they're going to do with their running backs as well over this entire offseason. Regardless, I don't think he'll get goal line. I think Jacobs gets goal line, so even if they use Drake everywhere in between the 20s, he's probably not going to get the goal lines. He had a really good year last year, and I think that people are going to remember the really good year last year. I think that people are going to remember his name being picked in the top 10 or 12, and they're going to take him thinking that he's going to be a big name. But he's going to be in a committee, and I have no idea if it's going to look like Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I just assume that it's going to be a disaster. I mean, what other way can you put it? You got to score touchdowns to be relevant. Moving on, similar situation to a degree. Ronald Jones, I feel like he should be the guy that is elevating. He had a really good year last year. He had essentially 1,000 yards combined. He had 8 touchdowns, and he's getting some hype. Obviously, he plays for Tom Brady team, which is always going to be good. The problem I have here is that Leonard Fournette came around, played really well, played in the playoffs, played well in the playoffs, re-signed. And for me, what was supposed to be Ronald Jones taking off and taking this team and having it be his backfield is now kind of more of a split than I think that we want to believe. Leonard Fournette is not done by any means, and I think that this is going to crush, well, I mean, not crush, but it's going to really hurt Ronald Jones' production. And I think people are going to take Ronald Jones assuming he's going to get a bulk of the carries, when realistically, I think it's going to probably be more of a 60-40 split, or right down the middle, because Fournette still has a lot left in the tank, and he proved that he can do it in the playoffs. Not only that, but there are a lot of mouths to feed in Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin was hurt for a lot of the season last year, so he's got a mouth to feed. Evans has got a mouth to feed. Gronk's got a mouth to feed. So we have a lot of mouths to feed, and that is not easy when it comes to a running back who's already splitting time. So keep that in mind as we move forward here. Next, I want to talk about David Montgomery, and once again, I'm going to bring up Andy Dalton. I love David Montgomery's talent. I hate the quarterback situation. I really, really dislike the quarterback situation. If it didn't work in Dallas with a team with Zeke and Cooper and Lamb and Gallup and all these guys, why does Chicago think, and I'm sorry, Chicago, why does Chicago think that bringing Dalton in is going to be better than what Dallas was able to do? I mean, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I love David Montgomery's talent. I think that he could honestly be a first-round pick in many leagues, but these question marks continue to sit here. I mean, if I was playing against Andy Dalton, I would probably stack the box. I mean, that's probably what I would do. Yeah, you'd have to worry about Allen Robinson, but am I that worried about Dalton going up top to Allen Robinson and crushing me? I'm not. I'm just not. So for me, David Montgomery takes a bump after this, even though I think that he is a top 2-round talent. The quarterback situation just has me so down on Chicago. And maybe they're going to draft somebody, but even then, it's like you're going to draft somebody and they're going to come in and be better than Andy Dalton? Probably not. So it's a tough one for me. It's more of a RB3 at this point, and which is really sad because I really think that there's good value in him. Next is Mixon. Joe Mixon. Okay, I'm just willing to say that I'm not done with Joe Mixon. I haven't drafted him in any leagues, but I know people who have, and every single time the story's the same. The last 3 years, you drafted him based on the fact that he's going to break out, he's young, and he's got talent, and he does, and oh yeah, if he could play, and he's going to get all of the carries in Cincinnati, and he's a good talent. He is a good talent, absolutely true. The offensive line is terrible, absolutely true. He's now hurt, or he was hurt, I should say. The quarterback situation isn't any better. Joe Burrow hurt himself, tore his ACL, and is going to return, obviously, but he's basically still a rookie quarterback. The team, what I'm getting at is Cincinnati is still not good, and it's not any better of a situation. And I'm not willing to just take, oh, well, he's safe at the end of the first round anymore. I'm done with it. I'm not doing it anymore. It really bit people last year. He only played 6 games. He basically was useless for the season. And he's still ranked number 14, so people are going to take him in the exact same spot they did last year and pay the exact same price that they did the year before. And he's going to give you the exact same return. I mean, he's going to be okay, but it doesn't seem like that season we're waiting for where he scores 16 touchdowns and has 13 yards, 100 yards is ever going to happen. It just doesn't seem like it, and maybe it will. And when it does, you know what? Call me back, and then I'll take him, all right? But until that happens, I'm not waiting here forever. Next is James Robinson. This one is a tough one as well. He had 10 touchdowns. Like, that's incredible. That's awesome. I just think that Jacksonville is a little bit like me on this one. I think that they don't really believe what they saw to a degree. There's not as much reason for me blankly to say, oh, I don't believe it. But I just don't believe it. Jacksonville's come out and said we're actively looking for another running back, which to me basically is not a death sentence, but it's asking for a committee kind of thing. They signed Carlos Hyde, who is kind of a journeyman at this point, somebody that can get carries kind of right away. So for me, that immediately kind of cuts into James Robinson's production. Jacksonville's going to end up with Trevor Lawrence. I think that that's good in the long run, but rookie quarterbacks that aren't guys like Cam Newton, I just don't really think are relevant in the first year. I know that's harsh because there's so many good rookie running back or quarterbacks that come into the league and make a big impact. But I feel like Trevor Lawrence is going to take some time to kind of get used to the NFL. That's just my gut feeling. I think our expectations are very high, and I think that James Robinson is going to get taken too high. I think that he's probably more of an RB3 or flex play, but he's going to be taken like an RB2. And I just don't believe it, guys. So anyway, guys, that's the list. How long did we get this one? It's about 7 minutes here. So a couple minutes over what I said, but that's all right, guys. Stick with this. Don't go to those other sites because you don't need to waste your time. Or feel free to waste your time. If you want to waste your time, go check out my channel. See you guys.